Namaste. Welcome to all. It is an honor and a delight to be here. These talks on the Bhagavad Gita, we will start with two prayers. One prayer I think many people know, which is chanted before the beginning of the study. And then we will also chant the prayer for the Bhagavad Gita itself. Bhagavad Gita she is so important that she has a prayer for herself, a special prayer. So we are going to chant that, at least portions of that, and so that we are able to get into the spirit of what she is all about. In a way, it is wrong to say, I am reading the Bhagavad Gita. Because she who is the Bhagavad Gita takes the I out of the individual. That is her job. So how can I be reading the Bhagavad Gita when she is taking the I, or she is actually taking the I, cleaning it out, shaking it up all about. And so we take these talks in the spirit of the Bhagavad Gita is doing a study of me, really. We have to make this stand on its head. Then only it will be much more clear and it will shine the light. I allow this to shine the light on me. Is this loud enough? You're all able to hear? Yes? Okay. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Grathitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitaamritavarshiniim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayiniim Amba Tvamanusandadhami Bhagavad Gite Bhavadveshinim Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutaha Stunvanti Divyaistavaihi Vedai Sangapadakramopanisadaihi Gayantiyam Samagaha Dhyanavasthita tadgatena manasa Pashyantiyam yoginaha Yasyantanna vidussura suraganaha Devaya tasmai namaha Devaya tasmai namaha Om. Letting the force of the chant direct us within. Eyes softly closed. Gently observing the breath. taking the time to arrive. Yes, the body is here. Where am I? Letting the shoulders move away from the ears. Letting the belly soften and hang. I observe the cool air entering through the nostrils and the slightly warmer air coming out. I soften the face, softening the brow, softening the eyelids so that they are not clutching. Cheeks soft. Tongue is soft in the mouth. Teeth are soft, not clenched. Right now, there is nothing to do except breathing. Nowhere to go, nothing to gain, and nothing to lose. From this place of centeredness, I pray to Bhagavati, the mother in the form of the Bhagavad Gita. She who is the mouthpiece of Lord Krishna. She who reigns over the universe, made the words light up with meaning. She who was channeled by Bhagavan Vyasa, she who is the jewel of the Mahabharata, she who has 18 arms in the form of 18 chapters, O Mother, I follow you with an open heart. Speak to me. Let me receive your treasure-filled wisdom. You who put an end to hatred in all hearts, make my heart whole with love, compassion, and tranquility. You shine the light on the Lord, who even the various devas like Indra, etc., do not know. Who we also cannot know as an object, but as the very truth of oneself. May this Lord, whose praises we sing, be seated in the center of my heart, facilitated by the Mother. Let Bhagavan and Bhagavati reign. Let their all-pervading grace be received by me. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. When you're ready, you can gently open the eyes. Are you comfortable here, or would you like to go there? It's up to you. You're fine here? Okay. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. In every human being, there are two tendencies. Only two? No, many tendencies are there. But for the purposes of our discussion today, we discuss two very predominant tendencies. One of this is a desire to do, a desire to do good in the world, a desire to contribute, a desire to grow to our fullest potential so we can contribute, a desire to put an end to various forms of miseries that we see in the world, and if not this kind of a big altruistic desire, there are some small desires. Maybe I can do something for my community. Maybe I can do something for my family. In other words, there is the desire to be active. One would like to do and do whatever one needs to do mindfully, not haphazardly, not compulsively, but mindfully. This is one tendency. And doing requires being with other people, because that's how it is. If you're sitting in a cave in the Himalayas, there's not much to do, okay? There's nothing to do there. Doing requires the companionship, community, action. And then dealing with the fallout. What is that? Result of action. More about that we'll talk. So there is this tendency to do. And then this is the tendency that which we are more aware of, because like the case with twin children, one of them is dominant and the other one a little reticent. Or even with two siblings, we find that. One of them is outgoing, the other one sits quietly in the back. Lets the other one take the lead. One of them likes to talk, interact, extrovert. The other one keeps to itself. The same thing we see in the heart itself. The doer, the mover, the shaker, the one who wants to be in public, the one who wants to make things happen, is prominent. Is the prominent sibling. It's the one who encompasses everything. It's the one who is there all the time. And is the one who is, in fact, just between you and me, a bully. What is the other tendency? The other tendency is to sit quietly. Let go of all this outer chatter, inner chatter, in-between chatter. This is the one who is tired of doing, who wants to hang up doership on the coat rack and then just lie down. Just be. Just relax. This is the second tendency. And in a way, even if we look at it in the life of all beings in the world, we find these two tendencies there, in the dog, in the cat. The same dog that was having the crazies and chasing its own tail, after 2 minutes, what is it doing? It's lying down, quiet. Everything that is active by day is quiet at night, and vice versa. Everything that is quiet by day, I'm not just talking of owls, I'm also talking of thieves and the like, and then is active at night. This we find. There's a natural rhythm of doing and not doing in the universe, which the animals tend to respect and follow. They don't think of it. It's not rocket science to them. If the cat wants to sleep, it will curl up and sleep on your laptop as you are doing the work. It doesn't care. Time to rest. And the human beings are the only ones that defy these laws. Do not know when to rest, do not know when to be active, even on a day-to-day basis. And even in life, we have trouble balancing the doership, the doing, and the non-doing. We don't know when is the time to pull back and be with ourselves, and we do not also know when is the time to just be active, be engaged, be out there. In fact, this is our nemesis. This is exactly our nemesis, because we do when we are not supposed to do, and then we have to do some more to undo what we have done. But doing cannot really undo, because do and undo are opposites. and so the saga goes on and on and on and on and on. This is what is called samsara, leading to a life of constant doing. Because the doing takes over the non-doing. And when the doing takes over the non-doing, that means there is no recharge. There is no rest. There is no introspection. There is no contemplative. All the contemplative forces within oneself are blatantly ignored and put aside. And the doing becomes an addiction. I'm not doing because I want to do. I'm doing because I cannot not do. This is samsara, a life of doing. But then if you ask anybody, what are you doing? Treading water, that's what I'm doing. Walking in place, that's what I'm doing. Oh, but I have a lot to show for it. What do you have to show? Here is my degree. Okay. Did that help you have peace of mind? Yes. For how long? Few minutes. After that, what happened? The feeling I am not okay surfaced again, resurfaced. This is my degree. And in the other hand, I have my pedigree. This is the lineage from which I come. This is who I am. In India, this is very common. Chaturvedi, this is a surname. This is a surname in India. Chaturvedi means the person who has studied all the 4 Vedas. Imagine. And then you say, hello. You are Chaturvedi? Yes, that's my lineage. I come from a very powerful lineage. Can you at least chant one mantra of one Veda? I don't know how to spell even Veda, let alone chant the mantra. Then what are you doing calling yourself a Chaturvedi? Well, I'm riding on the laurels of the ancestors. That's the pedigree. And Vajpayee, this is another one. There was a prime minister in India a long time back. Vajpayee, he was. Vajpayee is a very, very difficult and involved fire ritual, which is done for world peace. And he had not done that. He didn't even know how to light the fire in the fire ritual, probably. But his ancestors had done that. So we rest on the degree, we rest on the pedigree, and the doing becomes an obsession. The non-doing takes a back seat. The question, $1 million question is, why does the doing become addictive? Why does the doing become an obsession? This is because there is a sense of lack and insecurity centered on the I. The I, whose glory is not known, is subject to these insecurities. If I don't know my own glory, that I am one with the Lord, with the Goddess, if I do not know that, then I take myself to be what I am not. This is again a very specific human problem. It's not an animal problem. The cat is happy being what it is. The cow is happy being what it is. So long as it does not end up in between the 2 slices of bread, it is very happy living its life, having its babies, being what it wants to be. But then, this is not enough for the human being. The dog seems to be happy, happier than us anyway, definitely. The cat seems to be okay. Cow seems to be okay. The only thing that is not okay is I. All the beings come into the world with self-ignorance. The self-ignorance morphs in the human being into self-non-acceptance. Why does this happen? Because we have free will. And it is as though the goddess put complete self-awareness in us. Everything is evident to me, and what am I? Self-evident. I am the self-evident self. I am that awareness to which everything becomes evident to me. And I also am evident to myself. So this way, the whole teaching is all about this self-non-acceptance. The non-acceptance of the I leads to the doing, because somehow I think if I do a little more, I will be more acceptable to myself. If I am more educated, if I have more money, if I have more fame, success, if I have more things, property, things to hold on to, then I will be okay. This is why the doing takes prominence in life, and the doing itself becomes a difficult prospect because of the addiction. I cannot apparently undo my doing. This is very evident. If we go to the airport, I travel a lot, so I'm at the airports a lot. So when I go to the airport and I'm sitting in the gate, near the gate, there are some chairs and I'm sitting, so is everybody else who is waiting to board the flight. And if you just look around, what are people doing? Sitting calmly and meditating? Yes? No. Somebody is on the phone. Actually, in the beginning, when I saw them talking, I thought this fellow was talking to himself. And he was talking louder and louder and louder. And then I thought, oh, should I report it? Because they keep saying in the airport, if you see something suspicious, report it. But then I saw something was coming out of his ear. Then I said, okay, maybe he's talking to somebody. This was in the early days of the Bluetooth, which is neither blue nor is it a tooth. I don't know why it is called that, but we will never find out. But then, so somebody is talking, somebody is eating, whether they are hungry or not. There is a swaha, some kind of yajna, fast food, junk food yajna is going on. And then inner yajna to the digestive fire. And then somebody is, watching something on their devices. Somebody is going up and down. Why is the flight not here? When is it here? Is it here yet? Is it here yet? Is it going to be late? Oh my God, it's 5 minutes late. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And then finally you say, oh, this person is not doing anything. But then you observe them closely. The leg is going like this. Or like this, It's like in a permanent vibration mode, like the devices we have. We can't sit still. It's not that we don't know how, but it's just that somehow sitting still becomes uncomfortable. It becomes so terribly uncomfortable because it brings up non-acceptance. And the non-acceptance is seen all around me. I think, oh, people are not accepting me. This one is looking at me this way. That one is looking at me that way. Nobody, therefore, what is your grand conclusion? Nobody loves me. You ask the people around, are you looking at me funny? Chances are, just go be very frank, be very candid and say, hey you, I thought you were looking at me in a funny way. Are you looking at me funny? Chances are they will say, no, it is allergy season and I was just trying to sneeze and you happened to walk by. I was not making a face at you. That is resolved, that is good. But this is the subjectivity. In animals, the ignorance does not lead to subjectivity. In human beings alone, somehow we manage this. The ignorance leads to subjectivity. Subjectivity means whatever I see, whatever I talk about, whatever I do has this backdrop of this eclipse of my own thoughts, distorted thoughts, my own feelings, distorted feelings, subjective feelings, based on the basic insecurity centered on the self. I do not love myself, therefore I think nobody loves me. I do not accept myself, therefore I become a beggar for acceptance. I do not validate myself, therefore I look to everybody for validation. Somebody wrote a book. What is it called? I am okay, you are okay. That's okay actually. But here in the Kali Yuga, Kali Yuga means these terrible times in which we live. Full short definition. Yes. In Kali Yuga, it is like, I am okay if you say I am okay. Ay-ay-ay-ay-yo. Where to go? I don't need to translate ay-ay-ay-ay-yo, right? Yeah. It's an onomatopoeia. It is how exactly it sounds. So, where to go? If I am okay if you say I am okay. And how many people are there in the universe? 8 billion people. Think about it. What do I have to do in order to get 8 billion people to approve of me for the entire duration of my life? Do you see where this is going? Do you see how impossible this is? Do you see how utterly frustrating we are making our lives to be? Do you see that this is a total waste of time? But yet this is the pursuit. What is the pursuit? No, I'm a doctor, I'm an engineer, I'm a lawyer, I'm this, I'm that. You go behind each and every pursuit. The pursuit is for self-acceptance. Even the one who says, I'm a social worker, I just want to help everybody, I don't want to do anything for myself. You tell them, you know what, let's say for the next 10 days, the whole world is taken care of. Nobody needs your help. Sit down. Oh, no. Here also there is an addicted doing, hidden under a garb of altruism. There is no altruism. That is the truism. There is no altruism. There is no altruism. I want to get away from myself. I want to not have to deal with self-disapproval, self-disenchantment, self-judgment, self-non-acceptance, self-invalidation, self-loath, in short. And I think I can get away from this by keeping myself in the loop of doing. Maybe I can forget this for some time. Maybe I can forget how much hatred there is centered on the self if I go to a movie. 2 hours of bliss because I am looking at somebody else's life. Great, not my life. Nice. 2 hours of what is called retail therapy. For that you have to have money, okay? Yeah. 2 hours of retail therapy, yes. I just immerse myself into various kinds of objects and then come out all self-approved? No. Come out more of the same. Back to the basics. Back to the fears, back to the tears. Just back. This is how life is. And then there is an 8-hour reprieve, 7-hour reprieve. What is that? It's called sleep. Ah, thank God. I can finally... Here, actually, if I was in charge of sleep, I doubt if I would have slept at all. But it is the goddess Gudaka Devi who is in charge of sleep. There's a sleep goddess. Yeah, her name is Gudaka Devi. That's why Arjuna is called Gudakeshaha, he who has mastery over sleep. Because he's a great warrior, you know, he doesn't sleep. He can sleep whenever he wants. So, Gudaka Devi. Gudaka Devi comes and touches me, gives me a kiss on the cheek, and I go to sleep. At night in my bed, or during the day in Vedanta class. Who can help the kiss of Gudaka Devi? Nobody. That's why even I will not wake you up if you go to sleep. No problem. You are blessed by the goddess of sleep. All right? Yeah. Who am I to wake them up? Not at all. So, this way, if I was in charge of sleep, I would not have slept at all. But since the goddess has to put me to sleep, like a mother with a tired child. And what does the child say? No, I want to play, I want to go out, I want to eat. I want to do things. The mother knows you're tired. And the mother doesn't argue. The mother says, yes, yes, we'll go. Yes, wonderful, we'll go. Despite ourselves, we go to sleep, not because of ourselves. Otherwise, there would not be any reprieve to the constant Tanpura. You know, there is an Indian instrument which is like a background shruti. It plays the background notes of the raga. It is called Tanpura. So there is no reprieve to the background notes. I'm not okay, I'm not okay, I'm not okay, I'm not okay. Therefore what? I want, I want, I want, I want, I want, I want, I want. Okay, go get what you want. I don't get what I want, I don't get, I lack, 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 I lack. And then what else? Why me? Why me? Why me? This is the background noise. And if you want to make music in the world with this kind of a background noise, all that there will be is cacophony. No music is possible. This is exactly what happens to Arjuna in the start of the Bhagavad Gita. Because for the first time in his very, very active life of a warrior, he is questioning doership. Oh, doership, is that a word? It is now. Yes. He is questioning his doership for the first time in his life. Oh, so he has had a spiritual awakening? Not really. Not yet anyway. He's questioning his doership because he's confronted with a very ghora karma. A terrible action awaits him. All his doings from the past and those of his dysfunctional family members have led to this moment. And what is this moment? Of families fighting one another. He was a dharmic person and his four brothers were also very dharmic. And even though the cousins, the 101 cousins grew up along with these 5 dharmic, righteous, compassionate people. What is 5 against 101? It is just 5%. 5% of dharmic influence. And the rest of the time what? They just grew up like wild seed. They didn't have proper parenting. The father of these 101 children was blind by birth. Metaphorically, that means what? Blinded by moha, delusion. A kind of a toxic love. The expression of this delusion was in the form of a toxic love that shields the wrongdoings of people just because they are related to me. What kind of an upbringing is that? Duryodhana showed signs of psychopathy from childhood. They caught him at age 7. Age 7, most people are just, playing with their cars, trucks and dolls. What was he doing? He caught a bird and he was found by himself behind the palace walls, wringing its neck. Trying to anyway. He was apprehended and made to shake his hands off. The frightened bird flew away. But this is a very dangerous tendency. The young Duryodhana, unperturbed, says, you might not want to say this to anybody else. You know what I almost did to this bird. It's a threat. Therefore, he is shielded. Shielded by the father. Shielded by everybody else. This is how the toxic family and the dysfunctional family grew up. You might ask, okay, father was blind from birth. Where was the mom? What was she doing? She's perhaps one of the most stupid ladies in the Mahabharata. Her name was Gandhari. From the modern day Afghanistan, yes. Pre-Taliban Afghanistan, she was from, a princess of Gandhara Pradesha, the modern Kandahar. This is what it is, Gandhara. And then there, she was asked first, do you mind marrying this wonderful prince who just cannot see? That's only his only problem. She said, no problem, I will marry him. She agreed to the marriage. And on the day of the marriage, she said, oh, if my dear husband to whom I am about to be wed cannot see anything, I also will tie my eyes and sit quietly. This is a very stupid decision. Really. Really stupid decision. And then she also just sat with a big patti. Patti is what? A bandage on her eyes. They say she put some, what is that called? She didn't even want a little chink of light to escape and meet her eyes. So she put some chapati dough, like pizza dough. And she sealed the eyes and on top of that tied the bandage. Absolutely silly and stupid woman. She should have said, I'm going to be your eyes. And I'm going to see what you cannot see. I'll make the world more colorful for you and describe what I see. No. Both of them out of commission from day one of the marriage. Okay, fine. It's your personal decision. Who am I to say you should not tie your eyes? If you want to tie your eyes, no problem, go ahead. But I really feel like such people should not have children. Yes. But they go ahead and have not one, not two, but 101 children. Yes. Is it a surprise that the children grew up so badly? No, they had no parenting. Parenting means eye contact must be there. Love must be shown, and the eyes are the windows of this love that one feels in the heart. Nothing. They had nothing, even though they had everything. They had nothing. They had access, even though they were not the rightful rulers. Neither was their father the rightful ruler. They had everything. They had palatial living. They had the best tutors, the best teachers, the nicest clothes. But still they grew up with a sense of lack. Why me? Oh, I'm not okay. I don't have this. I want this. This is how they grew up. And then Arjuna was bullied really by Duryodhana. All the 5 of them were bullied. They kind of stayed away. They let them usurp the kingdom. They let them do everything. They let them tyrannize the population, the subjects. Finally came a time they had to put their foot down. They lost everything. They lost everything because the cousins, the Kauravas, took advantage of them and then enticed them to a game of dice where the dice were loaded. And so each time they won and they lost the kingdom, they lost everything. And that's when they said, we need to fight back, finally. They were angry. They were upset. Arjuna was just so angry, he wanted to kill the whole lot of them. 12 years they were made to go as part of punishment for losing this game of dice. 12 years they were made to go and stay in the forest, and the 13th year they were supposed to stay incognito. How are you going to hide Arjuna, who's so clever? You can't hide him. Forget Arjuna, how are you going to hide his brother Bhima? Taller than a basketball player. And strong, very, very strong. He could uproot trees with one hand. That was his strength. How are you going to hide such a fellow? Then finally one kingdom gives them shelter, and then they are kept there, and Bhima becomes the cook. He knows how to cook, so in the kitchen he will be hidden from sight. He was not allowed to go anywhere except be in the kitchen. And he had his own way of cooking. Who is going to bother cutting vegetables into neat little, juliennes and dices and slices? No. Just take 2 pumpkins together, crush them together, put them and make sambar. He was a very tasty cook. Yes. He cooked very well. But he could not be bothered with all this, artwork. So like this they lived, and the war inevitably broke out because all mediations failed, including the mediation by Lord Krishna failed. They wouldn't yield an inch of the kingdom which they had usurped and were ruling it wrongly, terrorizing the subjects, but they would not give even an inch. When the war broke out, Lord Krishna was driving the chariot for him. That's a different story. Maybe we can address it another time. And Arjuna was full of aplomb. He was just like, I'm going to show them. Who are these people daring to fight with me? Let me at them. I'm going to cut them. I'm going to kill them. I'm going to do this, do that. All this feeling of confidence lasted only until he was confronted by the elders. Who are these elders? His own grandfather, Bhishma. His own uncles. His own elders in whose lap he had played. His guru, Dronacharya, who because of his own helplessness had gone to the enemy side. They should have been fighting on this side. All the doership leaves him at that moment. Not because he has had a spiritual awakening, that is yet to come, but because he is loath to do what needs to be done. What needs to be done is to teach them a lesson, is to do his duty as a warrior. But then this is exactly what he cannot do. And we find him at the end of the first chapter, on the floor of the chariot, rocking back and forth in a fetal position, hardly befitting a warrior of his stature and caliber. This is how the first chapter closes, bringing us to the question that is there, addressed by the end, the message of the entire Bhagavad Gita. What is doing? What is not doing? And how to tell the difference between the two. Kim karma, Kima karma iti. Kavayo api atra mohitaha. The Lord Krishna says in the 4th chapter. What is yet to be done? What is to be done? What is not to be done? Even the people, even the sages are confused about this. And this is what exactly has to be figured out. And this is what we will be addressing in these talk series called Yoga in the Bhagavad Gita. The word yoga is variously used and it means many, many things. It all comes from the root verb yuj, yujir. Like this, some root verbs, similar sounding root verbs are there. There are 3 meanings. The first one is called samyame. Yujir, samyame, discipline. Yoga means discipline. Yoga also means nirodha. Nirodha means stopping. Yoga is stopping. Stopping what? We will see soon. Yoga is stopping. Yoga is discipline. Yoga is also uniting. Making the so-called things that were one, that were two, into one. This is how the word yoga is variously used in the Bhagavad Gita. And it has an abiding presence in the entire text. And we'll be seeing these 3 meanings as a way to fold in this discussion on the doing and the non-doing. Adi Shankara talks about the legacy of the Bhagavad Gita right in the introductory commentary. He says that people do not know what to do, what not to do, etc. And there seems to be 2 kinds of lifestyles, at least in his time. Even in our times, but it was more common in his time. And what are these 2 kinds of lifestyles? The first lifestyle is one of activity. Even though there is the kind of this distinction, every lifestyle has activity and not, but here this is an ideal typical distinction here. First lifestyle is one of activity, pravritti marga it is called, and the second lifestyle is through renunciation, nivritti marga. The first lifestyle is through doing what and how we will see. The second lifestyle is through non-doing. And he says both these lifestyles are blessed by Ishvara, Bhagavan. In fact, Bhagavan, Ishvara, God, has ordained these lifestyles by having 2 kinds of lineages. One is the lineage of the householder, represented by you. And the other is the lineage of the monastic, the monk. And these 2 lifestyles constitute the universe. And they are ordained by Bhagavan. Bhagavan created them. And then for what purpose, one may ask, Bhagavan created these 2 lifestyles? Because it shows a certain kind of an evolution. It is through the doing we get to a place of what? Non-doing. And then we can't just do whatever we like, because how would we be different from animals? The animal wants to give a kick, donkey. It suddenly says, I feel like giving a wonderful kick. Oh, but Swaminiji is standing behind me, I should not kick. It won't think like that. We have to, find fault with the Swami standing behind the donkey. What's wrong with you? Don't you know not to stand behind the donkey? We will tell the Swami that. We can't argue with the donkey. But we have the freedom not only over action, but of action. We are free to act, but we are also free to not act. Donkey is not free not to kick. We are free to kick or not to kick. Or to give a kick later on when nobody else is looking. So many, many possibilities are there. And so, what to do, when to do, how to do, most importantly, what not to do, all becomes the important discussion in a text that is called the Bhagavad Gita, which is actually what? It is actually a text of non-doing. It's a treatise of liberation. Arjuna has a question. Arjuna says, if it's a treatise of liberation, you are telling me the way to liberation is to just be fulfilled with myself and study the truth of study about the truth of myself, get rid of self-ignorance through self-knowledge. If this is my destiny, and here you are saying, Tasmad Uttishta, get up, Arjuna. Yuddhaya Kritanishchayah. Be the one who has already made a decision to fight. Get up, fight, get up, do. Why are you asking me to do when my destiny is not doing? Why are you asking me to do? I want to just withdraw. When the going gets tough, the tough get going. Yes, show a few signs of life, it's okay. Yeah. You can do that. The tough get going. And he was just like, where can I get a piece of orange? I want some orange. Where is orange? Why do you want orange? I want an orange shawl to drape around myself. Be Arjunananda. Why? I don't like to fight my elders. I don't like to fight my guru. Puk. The heart is anxious. The mind is sad. The heart is anxious. The emotions are all over the place. And I'm having a panic attack. So what to do? You can't leave the war. He's a soldier. He's a commander-in-chief. It's called dereliction of duty. It's an offense. Even now it's an offense. That's why you have to have honorable discharge. And he said, okay, what's the best ancient Indian honorable discharge? Take sannyasa. Go, become a monk. If you become a monk with a monkey mind, you know what will happen. Yes. All kinds of things will happen. He thought he will just, grow a beard. Beard is nice because, a lot of facial features are hidden. It's a very instant disguise. In a few days, you can have a ready-made disguise. He'll grow a beard, sit under a tree. And Lord Krishna says, not so fast, my darling, because you think you can sit under a tree, but you don't know what kind of karma you are attracting. Leaving what you have to do. Leaving the station that you have finding yourself in. Because for us, what is God is not a guy in the sky. It is not Ishvara for us. What is Bhagavan, what is God, is that which is manifest in the form of the laws of the universe. Wherever there is a law, wherever there is inevitability, I am at the feet of the Lord, at the feet of the Goddess. It's a manifestation of Bhagavan. So this duty, this body that is given to me is a manifestation of the Lord. My parentage is the manifestation of the Lord. And therefore, whatever I am supposed to do in this life is also a manifestation of Bhagavan. I cannot suddenly say I'm going to leave it, especially if the karma there is not fulfilled. Is not fulfilled. Why? Because there are loose ends to be tied up. There are things to do, places to go, people relying on you. Oh, but then how come still people are renunciants? They also left. Yes, they also left, and they also chose the other lifestyle, Adi Shankara says, because they had emotional, mental readiness for that. The readiness is not something that is just dropped on you. The readiness is cultivated through doing. Very paradoxically, we become non-doers through doing. Non-doership is my nature. It is a discovery that comes through rightful doing. Doing the right things at the right time in the right way. Therefore, the two lineages are very blessed, are indeed sanctified by Bhagavan as a way to self-discovery, self-abidance as the truth of everything in the universe, as Satchidananda, as the glorious being, not affected by sorrow, not affected by desire, not affected by anxiety and fear. You see, it's a process of growth. It's a process of growth, and therefore we have the correct way of doing, which we have to study first in order to let that go. Correct way of doing. Either we get this in this life, or we have done the homework in another life. Like some adepts, like Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi, a very great saint. And somebody came and asked him, this is a real true story. Somebody came and asked him, "Oh Bhagavan, I have children who are grown. I have enough money saved up, retirement. And then my wife, she's also okay. She seems to be okay. She's fine. Can I take sannyasa? Can I become a renunciant?" And Ramana Maharshi, who rarely spoke, leaned. He was lying down on his bed. He woke up, got up, leaned forward and said, "Absolutely not." The man was hurt, surprised by the answer, and very angry. First he went out of the room because he was so angry he couldn't handle it. And then later on he came back. He was still angry. And he said, "How dare you say that to me? Look at you. Didn't you cut off your sacred thread and your tuft? And didn't you just do that in the building? In the temple building? And in fact, you had dropped all your clothes and put it there, and the temple priest gave you an upper cloth and a lower cloth to wear for the sake of the people. When you yourself have renounced, how can you tell me not to renounce?" "My dear sir," said Ramana Maharshi, "yes, what all you say is true. I did renounce. But I did not seek anybody's approval while so doing, as you are doing right now." And so, this is a process of growth. And how is this growth accomplished? It is accomplished by understanding the three meanings of the word yoga in the Bhagavad Gita and assimilating those teachings. This is how the growth is orchestrated. How to do that we will see in the next session in about 15 minutes. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Come back in 15 minutes even if you don't want to.
In the middle.